Hey, welcome into Dom Time. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's our weekly roundup. We take a look at everything that's in the news. We bring in some local pundits. Daniel Denver from Philadelphia City Paper is with us tonight on Dom Time. And Dan, you said part of your beat is kind of connecting the dots between some of these things that happen, inequality, et cetera. I know that's become over the last year and even more so a growing almost industry out there that's your beat. U.S. Open in town. I'm going to it. I think it's a great event. Inquirer said this week $100 million, which is way overblown. It's going to trickle down economy. When Tiger Woods makes $2 million, it's good for everybody in this area. I see it not quite that way, but I see it that way. How about you? Do you see a bunch of fat cats? Not only do they gather here, but then they pat themselves on the back that we're driving the economy for the little guy.
For being such a generous stimulus package.
Exactly,
to
it's our own stimulus package. Yeah.
I mean, I certainly don't. I'm not a golf fan, but I certainly have. I support the U.S. Open being here and playing golf. But I do think, as what you're getting to, that I do think that it's symbolically a little, troubling or interesting in this day and age that we depend on these sorts of events to trickle down. Since over the last few decades, so much industry and good-paying union jobs have left. We're increasingly competing with other cities, like, oh, bring this convention here, or oh, we'll give you a tax break if you bring these jobs here.
But who's responsible? I would argue it's people in Philadelphia are responsible for a lot of this because the union mentality drives a lot of stuff away. Who's going to want to come here and have to deal with that? So you get these service industry jobs, which you're right, are kind of fickle because these hotels are demanding driving this stuff in, otherwise no one is able to do it.
And the only thing bringing up those wages are unions like Unite Here, which are organizing the housekeepers who have to flip beds on their own and things like that, and bringing their jobs up closer to a family wage job with good benefits. But I mean, the history of it's interesting because there's an argument to be had over whether the Philadelphia building trades in particular are drive up construction costs more in Philadelphia relative to other cities. But I think the older history is more a situation of business and government subsidizing the outmigration of these jobs and people to the suburbs. And so I think we need policy that supports the growth of good jobs rather than the elimination of them.
Well, we agree on that. Yeah, we definitely agree with it. So
what those policies are is the question.
But I'm welcoming the U.S. Open coming to Marion too.
And I'm okay with it.
Okay, you're okay with it. We got an okay. Now, a couple of other things that have happened since we last did our weekly roundup. I had the mayor of Wildwood on my show. Wildwood knows that they have a huge problem. It's finally struck them. They're going too far out there. Each one of these shore towns. I don't know if you quote summer at the shore. Do you have a favorite shore place?
I enjoy Wildwood. I'm from Washington, D.C., so I grew up going to Rehoboth and the Delaware beaches.
Okay,
but Wildwood is my favorite people watching on the East Coast.
All right, now do you go to a particular, because there are 3 Wildwoods. Which Wildwood do you like?
The
center?
The center
with
the roller coasters.
Yeah, that's the worst. If you summer there. So I go to Cape May, but this year we're coming back to North Wildwood. So I have the mayor on, and as viewers may know, he has this baggy pants ban. Among other things, you have to wear your shirt on the boardwalk. And what it's about is, he expressed it, Wildwood has gone too far in the mind of people. It's too nuts, it's too lowbrow, and they're driving away families and other, particularly Central Wildwood. And I agree with them on that, and I don't get, maybe the City Paper has a better sense than I of the baggy pants thing. It does set people off. And I just saw a guy yesterday, it was Saturday, he was belted, but he still had his underwear 6 inches up above his pants. And there's something about this that becomes the focal point of what this guy's doing that goes way beyond just taste and culture and everything else.
It's not my personal fashion preference. I'm more of on the skinny jeans trend myself. But I think that there are important constitutional questions that are raised whenever you have a government saying they're going to...
Being a moron in public showing your underwear, is that what we're going to fight for?
The First Amendment protects your right to
be stupid. We know that.
To be is stupid.
Now the ACLU has not weighed in yet, and
not yet, but they have sued in other cases around the country.
And let me talk to you about this. I'm a fan of the ACLU in theory, but when they weigh in on stuff like this, is this an important constitutional issue, or shouldn't Wildwood be trying to say, look, we know what this breeds, it's an image thing, we have to sell, we need jobs here in Wildwood, and we don't want this lowbrow stuff anymore. We tried that, it didn't work.
Well, I think issues like the fact that there's still dozens of people at Guantanamo who've yet to get a legit trial is a much more pressing civil liberties concern yet. It is a slippery slope once you have governments that are allowed to regulate what people can wear in a public space. So I don't think it's necessarily—
Or not wear.
Or not wear. But and you are allowed, I believe in New Jersey, to say that you cannot expose certain parts of your body, but underwear is not, not a body part, it's just another piece of clothing.
So if there's no crackdown, so to speak, if that's not, now if there is, then you—
it would be legal. I think it would be constitutional to crack down on cracks. I think
okay,
I think
all right,
that might pass constitutional muster.
So plumbers, watch it. Don't be going
Yes.
to Wildwood here.
Yes.
That might be an issue. What else are you guys talking about the city paper this week? You guys have at the city paper this column that I like, and I know that's not exactly your beat. It has a plus minus type of thing. I think once or twice I've been in there, usually a negative, which I'm okay with. And it's kind of a, where is Philadelphia now? You get a plus because this is coming to town, a minus and a zero.
Well, we're avid readers of your daily news.
Okay, there you go. That gives you a lot of fodder to take apart. Yeah. But what are some of the things that you see that would be a plus right now in the next couple of months of Philadelphia, and anything that's a minus?
A plus right now, I just think is,
I'll give you one. Topless Crusader. I'm interviewing on the radio show on my TV.
The one from
the
New York?
woman that walks around from New York now, and she was
she's
in
coming,
Philadelphia.
is she coming to Philly?
She's come to Philadelphia. See, I need to know this type of stuff.
And was she?
She was on Rittenhouse Square.
Was she arrested?
She was fined, I think, for public disturbance.
Yeah, I did read in New York that that police were reminded that a state court ruling had established that women do have a right to go around topless. Which, I personally think is fair. If men can go around,
I personally think
if men can go around topless,
it's a dog in this fight.
Yeah,
exactly.
But and unfortunately, a lot of my beat is having to focus on the negative ends of things. But there are constantly positive things going on in Philadelphia. I was talking to one of your producers before the show, who had moved in from the country to go, or a small town in South Jersey,
to go to Temple,
and was just terrified after watching the evening news, which just murder, crime. And I'm working on a long investigation of murder in North Philadelphia right now. I think it is a very important issue, but the way it's covered on the evening news is a big problem. It's just superficial and sensational, and not getting at the deeper questions of, why are these people killing each other? Do we have policy solutions that we can put forward to deal with that? The fact is, it's not mainly, suburbanites going to Temple who are getting gunned down.
No,
so I do think we need to stop scaring.
As much as I would say that this is isolated to certain zip codes, it is out of control.
It is,
and
certainly.
I support the police in these shootings that have happened. I don't know that anybody's come forward that any of them have been outside the boundaries of what they're supposed to do. We just had one over the weekend. This guy on South Street gets rebuffed by a woman allegedly, fires at the woman, runs down the street, fires at the police.
Raises a gun at police,
They don't fire at him, maybe because they've held back around this, and I don't know if he ran out of ammunition or whatever it was, they arrested him.
Yeah, no, I think that gun violence is certainly an enormous problem in Philadelphia, but that the city itself is full of vibrant neighborhoods and nice people, and that the news should not be sending out a do not enter sign to suburbanites. But that said, this is a huge issue. As I'm sure the Justice Department has been called in by Commissioner Ramsey to look at the police shootings. And I don't know enough about any of these given shootings, but I think it's a good move that Ramsey, just looking at those numbers, says this is concerning. I don't think he's blaming any individual officers, but are there systemic things that we can change that will reduce the number of police-involved shootings? Supposedly it worked in Washington when he brought in the Justice Department there.
All right, coming up, we'll talk more with Dan here on Dom Time, and I'll give you my story of the week, one I used this week that I think is really good. We'll see if Dan has one, and we'll kick around some of the lifestyle issues that have happened here as we continue with our weekly roundup on Dom Time.